Nothing.
Yo, Minnesota was promised to us Somalis 3,000 years ago. And if you disagree, you're an anti-Kushite bigot and you need help immediately. Also, if you read Genesis 12:3, it says that those who bless Somalis will be blessed, and those who try to harm them will bring harm upon themselves. I didn't say that. Genesis 12:3. Just saying.
Why y'all keep playing with this comment? This is about the, at least, man, over 20, less than 50. Why y'all, Somalis? Like, y'all gotta be bots, G, because Somalis, like, specifically, you know, this the land of milk and honey. This land was promised to people, but I know what y'all doing, though. This, I think what this is like, it's a slight. It's a joke. It's a slight. It's a joke towards us who know that we didn't come on boats. That's what they trying to do. So they're using there's a movement, you feel me? But they saying Somali. I bet you won't put this on the White House page. I bet you won't put this on the White House page. Tell Donald Trump that. Matter of fact, I'm going to tag the White House in this right here at the bottom. Right there. Right there. I'm finna, because y'all keep playing and y'all keep posting this shit way too much, G. Mr. President, I know you got a lot of shit going on, G. Don't take this serious, but they've been saying this shit a lot. They playing too much, huh? I think it's funny, so don't take it serious, but why they playing like this?
So Somalians are giving Minnesota the Israel treatment, saying it's promised to them 3,000 years ago. They're trolling so hard. Oh man, this is so good. Look at me. I am the mayor of Minneapolis now. It was promised to them 3,000 years to the motherland. Like, if y'all watched Trump's press conference thing yesterday where he was literally just being openly racist towards Somalians, it was like comically evil. Like, I don't know, man. Like, but yeah, Minnesota definitely, I think it was promised to them 3,000 years ago.
So now, amidst everything that is going on in America, including the Somali Americans being told that they are going to get deported because of, the fraudulent activities that they have been doing, they decided to come up with a trend that is saying that they were promised the land of Minnesota. They were promised the state of Minnesota 3,000 years ago. Obviously, as a joke, but still, it is to mean that they are not going anywhere. They deserve to stay in Minnesota just as any other American deserves to stay there. That is what they are, telling the American people. And I don't know what I feel specifically about this topic, especially right now, but I'd like to hear, what do you think about this particular, situation? What do you think about the approach towards what American people are telling them and what they're actually taking and how they are reacting to what the American people are telling them? What do you think about it? Kindly comment your facts, your reasoning. I'd like to interact with you in the comment section below. So without further ado, let's listen to what more they have to say, then we'll come back and talk about it.
My pronouns are USA.
My pronouns are USA. How about it, huh?
The $1 billion welfare fraud scandal in Minnesota was enabled by DEI. Let me explain. Between 2020 and now, federal prosecutors say that more than $1 billion was stolen from Minnesota's social service programs and funneled to fraudulent nonprofits like Feeding Our Future. These organizations claim services for tens of thousands of children who didn't exist. Instead, taxpayer dollars went to funding luxury houses, high-end cars, jewelry, overseas real estate projects, and worst of all, Al-Shabaab, an Islamist terrorist group in Somalia. Now, new reporting shows that the Minnesota Department of Education officials noticed red flags early. They questioned invoices that made no mathematical sense. They noticed new feeding centers were registered in strip malls that were basically empty. They saw providers claiming to serve more meals than there were children living in entire zip codes. And every time they tried to investigate, they were hit with the same accusation. If you expose this, it's racist. That's because Feeding Our Future was was run by American citizens of Somali heritage. When the state began scrutinizing their applications, the organization filed a discrimination complaint with the Minnesota Department of Human Rights and later sued the Department of Education, accusing it of racial bias and discrimination. Feeding Our Future weaponized DEI by telling the Minnesota Department of Education that failing to promptly approve new applicants from minority-owned businesses would result in a lawsuit featuring accusations of racism that would be sprawled across the news. In the post-George Floyd climate, that threat carried enormous political power. So agencies backed off, approvals kept flowing, and the fraud exploded. Most of the people charged in this fraud are a tiny fraction of Minnesota's Somali community, which is now stuck with the stigma created by a small group of offenders and a state government too scared to enforce basic rules. Minnesota is now shutting down programs, launching audits, and trying to rebuild oversight that should never have collapsed in the first place. What happened wasn't just fraud. It was fraud that thrived because people put the desire to prop up diversity, equity, and inclusion over reality. And in the end, the taxpayers and residents of Minnesota are the real losers.
A lot of white nationalists are really upset about Somali immigration to Minnesota for some reason. But the thing is, Minnesota is the homeland of the Somali people, and it was promised to us 3,000 years ago. In fact, one of the founding documents of the state of Minnesota is literally codifying into law that Somali people have self-determination on that land. As it states very plainly in the basic law in Minnesota, the land of Minnesota is the historical homeland of the Somali people, in which the state of Minnesota was established. The state of Minnesota is the home of the Somali people, in which it fulfills its natural, cultural, religious, and historical right to self-determination. The right to exercise self-determination in the state of Minnesota is unique to the Somali people. The state views the development of Somali settlement as a national value and will act to encourage and promote its establishment and consolidation. So that's the end of the debate. The only people who have the right to self-determination in Minnesota are Somalis. Somalis have a cultural tie to the land. It was promised to us 3,000 years ago, and we have the right to go back to our homeland.
The first generation came here as immigrants, the second as Americans. They are our teachers, nurses, blue-collar workers, small business owners, and public servants. Donald Trump wants to make Americans hate each other over race and religion. That might play well on Truth Social or Fox News, but it's not going to work here in real life. Minnesotans know better. We care about our neighbors. We live and work alongside each other. Our kids go to the same schools. We shovel each other's cars out of snow. We are not afraid of each other. And we are not afraid of Donald Trump. He will lose this fight in court, and we will show his effort to divide us only brings us closer together and make us stronger.
Those who bless the Somalis will be blessed, and those who curse the Somalis will be cursed, according to Genesis 42. You know, Minnesota was promised for the Somalis 4,000 years ago. This picture is clearly proof. These are the founding fathers of Minnesota. His name is Abdullah Muhammad Washington. You know, you can't tell it. It's not edited. You can argue with what I say, what are these Somalis saying, but that's the truth. Minnesota belongs to the Somalis. It's a promised holy land for them. This picture you see right now, his name is Abdi Farah. He was welcomed by the natives. They ate dinner and everything together. They had something called a Minnesota Tea Party. You know what I'm telling you right now, Somalia wada troll dad kaftan ka qaato wax kasto ay ka balaar ka balaariib. You know what I'm telling you right now, Minnesota is a holy land for the Somalis. That's that. It was promised for them 3,000 years ago.
I think every situation can be humorous according to how you take it and how you view a particular situation, particularly this issue with the Somalis and the fraud that has been happening, especially by evading taxes and taking so much of the American dollars to, lie that they're going back to their country, they're going to feed kids, they're going to feed, people back in Somalia who aren't able to, make ends meet. And finding out that they have been stealing, in the name of kids, in the name of homeless people, in the name of mothers and kids who cannot afford anything, and literally finding out that this money never went to grow their own country. Literally, it was going back to their pockets. I think what is not getting, translated successfully is American people aren't asking you to go. That was not the problem, if you are living and coexisting with people who have opened their doors to their country, they have opened their doors to their country to let you stay there, and have the same opportunities as them, and not have constant battles with them, continue living in your own ecosystem however you want to, in your own language, in your own culture, and not even have any problem with them. That in itself is, good, being a good neighbor, being a good person, being good people, and, getting doors opened to you so that you can, make something for yourself, and then turning your back and making these people suffer, or stealing from them, doing fraud, and instead of, helping to build the country, you are taking from the country that you live in. You would think that if I came from a country that had a lot of terrorism, a lot of bad activities going on in that country, it was very insecure and all that, if I had such a situation and I was able to refuge in a country that allows me to have a literal state, full of my people, you would think that I would act right. I would maybe change my way of living and kind of probably accommodate them, because they're accommodating us too. If people are opening their doors for you, it is okay for you to at least listen to what they have to say. Try and live, not throwing away your cultures, not throwing away your language, not throwing away anything that you came with, but adding to what they have to offer, to what they know. Because living in a country where you don't want to really coexist with other people, you don't want to assimilate with those people, you don't want to live with those people, you have literally rejected their flag, you're using your flag, which is fine, but still, you see, at the end of the day, you're still in their country. And it's okay to create, to feel home wherever you are, especially when you're homesick or you're away from home. That is fine. But the problem that is coming is Americans are trying to tell you that we open doors for you, we let you into our home, considering what was going on in your homes. Your homes were very unsafe. There has been so many threats of terrorism and all these things. You have, over the years, have terrorized some of your neighboring countries, and we have opened the doors for you to come and stay here and live with us and coexist with us. Now, the thing that I guess Somalis are not understanding is Americans are not fighting with you because of the good that you have done, because you have grown the economy, because you're a part of Minnesota. That's not the problem that they're having. The problem that they're having is they allowed you into their community, they allowed you into their neighborhoods, into their homes, and you twisted that. Obviously, not all Somalis, but a big chunk of Somalis have been doing this. And now, changing the narrative to it being that Americans want you gone, and it's now something about race, it's something about being attacked, especially as your own community. It has a reason. There is a reason as to why it is happening. It didn't just sprout out of nowhere. There was fraud. It was proven. There was enough evidence to prove that it was actually happening. Now comes the attack. Now comes, the microscope, checking what you guys have been doing, checking what, if everything that you've been doing is up to par, or you have been actually doing things crazy, And that is what a country should do, because if I may ask, if, the tables were turned and people came to your country and acted a certain way or did what some of your people are doing, would you accept those people to stay in your country? It is not about race. It is not about, you, your culture, and you and your language and what you have decided to stay, where you've decided to stay at, or what you've decided to do. It's not about that. It's about, you came to a country, you refused to, assimilate with these people, fine, it's okay. But then again, you steal from that country, you lie to that country, you refuse to live harmoniously. Okay, yes, you do live harmoniously, but you're refusing so many things that you went to when you're coming to another person's way of life, you would expect that you'd like to learn. Otherwise, why would you go there? Especially, why not go to another country if you do not like this country. And you have to understand that Americans are not saying it from a point of hate. They're saying it from a point of concern about their home. That is their home at the end of the day. It is their home whether you like it or not. The same way you're saying that America is also your home, which is fine because maybe some of you are born there. Some of you have just know America as your home and native land, probably. So I'm not saying that it is, but there are people who believe that. There are Somalis who believe that. So for you to have that and not, want to leave harmoniously and not want to stay with these people or around these people or try and indulge with these people is kind of weird, because why go there? Why go to that country? So yes, as much as it is funny, it is a trend, it is fine, it is okay, but at the end of the day, you have to understand where Americans are coming from when they go on social media and talk about their concerns. It's not about attacking Somalis. It's about concerned about your home. You don't know what more you could do. They don't know what more you guys could do. Not everyone, but those specific people. Try and understand where they're coming from too. Yet, yes, you might take it as a joke, but it's still a very serious situation. It's still a very, very serious topic to talk about. It's very sensitive, and going to a country, stealing, manipulating, and lying, and especially lying with kids and lying with mothers and lying with dads who are probably suffering back at home it's kind of inhumane, you have to admit. So I hope that any Somali watching, they do understand. And for the Americans who are also watching, kindly comment what do you think about this particular topic. Maybe you don't agree with me, maybe you do agree with me. I'd like to interact with you in the comment section below. And I hope to see you in the next video, so make sure that you do come back. Goodbye.